What do you consider your native language and why? Well, I consider my native language Spanish because it's my first language and English is my second language. However, I can speak both with just about equal fluency. So number two is, what was your first language learning experience? My first language learning experience was probably when I was like a little boy and I was like a little kid, and I was like first grade or kindergarten or something. But that doesn't really count. My first one was probably really not until like my second year in college when I was learning in Japanese, and I liked it at first, but later on it just became more of a chore and just really boring, uninteresting, kind of complicated or whatever, but not like fun though. It's very uninteresting. I'm sorry. And let's see. Number three is, what languages have you studied and why did you start studying them? Uh, languages that I started studying was Japanese because I think it's because of probably everybody else. Like they liked anime and they liked manga and they liked video games and a lot of stuff that has to do with Japan or Japanese culture and stuff like that, or even Asian cultures in general. And also, I later moved on to Mandarin Chinese because it's one of the more spoken languages. It's one of the most spoken languages and most important languages in the world. And then after that, I kind of diverged into Korean because it's kind of like, I'm kind of thinking like, if you know Chinese and you know Japanese, then Korean must be really easy, like, because Korean has like 60% of the words from Chinese, and quite a few from English actually as well, and also the grammar is just like in Japanese as well. Let's see, and then from then on, I started going all over the place, and yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be like Laoshu or something. Okay, uh, let's see. How does personality affect your languages in class? No, how you learn languages? Well, I would have to say that I'm a visual learner, a visual type of learner, and yeah, pretty much. I like I like stuff with pictures and comics, anything funny or witty or anything creative, and that keeps my interest in reading the book and wanting to read the book, and otherwise, it's just, it feels like a chore. Let's see. Do you prefer learning languages in class or individually? I would have to say individually, yeah. Uh, Hands down. The only advantage of learning in a class is probably like meeting new people, meeting like-minded people, socializing with them. Uh, like gaining new perspectives and new ideas from your partners or whatever, and learning about them. But I mean, nah, some of that stuff is baloney though. I mean, like, yeah, you don't need to yeah, you don't need to like spend like more than $2,000 just to be a friend of mine, like be friends with me or something. I mean, that's baloney though. Um, what are your favorite language learning materials? Okay, start. Okay, let me get out the Korean version. This one's good because, like I said, I'm a visual learner, and has a lot of graphics and pictures and cartoons. Let me show you. Uh, Let me show you. They're kind of ugly, but bear with me, okay? Uh, I don't understand. They don't really have some really interesting pictures, or not that I can find like right away though. But yeah, it's interesting though. I like it. Once again, the lights have changed. Okay. Let's see. I also like, which other one? Did I mention this one as well? I like this one because it has pinyin, simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, and English in it. And it doesn't have so much content packed in like Teach Yourself or whatever, you know. The only bad thing about this is, the only thing bad about this is they don't have like a volume 2 or intermediate version or whatever. And yeah, if you finish this, you'll probably be at low intermediate, high beginner. And it's very good. I recommend it. Let's see. Also, this one is real good. I know I have all Chinese, but yeah, bear with me. Not all my books are Chinese. I also have Japanese, Arabic, and Korean, and a few others or something. But I'm just talking about the series though. But yeah, it's 10 minutes a day, learn Chinese. But yeah, I think this is good for busy people and stuff. You know, it's kind of short, to the point, has some pictures. It doesn't, to not lose people's attention. And yeah, it's very good for busy people. I'm not a busy person, but I sure really want to learn fast. Let's see. Hold on. What's the other question? Let's see. How much do you spend actively learning per day or per week? I would have to say that I don't have a set schedule or anything, but normally I try to put in at least half an hour to an hour each day and 5 days a week. And okay, how much? What are your short-term and long-term language goals? Language learning goals. My short-term language learning goals is to, just learn at least a little bit of some languages that really get my interest, and especially some of the uncommon ones, like Japanese, Korean, um, Tagalog, Chavacano, Ilocano, Cebuano, Nahuatl, Purepecha, well, Swahili, Catalan, yeah, like a lot, of not so common ones. Long term, as for long term, I would say to learn Chinese really good and keep it. Also, probably also learn French and Portuguese, because it's kind of spoken by a lot of people, and it's one of the languages of the UN. But however, I want to keep concentrated on Chinese. So, okay, what is your favorite language and why? I would have to say that my favorite language is Spanish, but however, my favorite language, not my own, would have to be. It's really hard. I'm just gonna choose Chinese because that's the one I've been studying a lot lately, and I've been enjoying it. Mandarin Chinese. Okay. There's so many beautiful languages like Catalan, and there's Italian. There's which other one? The Portuguese. There's stuff like that. And okay, what is your next language you want to learn? The next one I'd like to learn would be, I would like to keep on and finish learning Korean. And other than that, I'd like to learn Bahasa Indonesian or Bahasa Malaysian, which is kind of the same. Also, Arabic, French, and Portuguese, get my interest. So, who knows? Only time will tell. And the last question is what advice do you give to new language learners? The advice I give to them is to, just like everybody says, be consistent. And one thing I learned, especially from Benny and Laoshu and some other ones, some other polyglots, and one thing I noticed is that really bad to be a perfectionist, and it's actually good to make mistakes. And so so yeah, like so yeah, if you're at a point where you're not understanding something and you're taking so long, or you're at a point where it yeah, you know, you're trying to know like every single little grammar point or vocabulary or whatever, it's like, yeah, just move on, or just stop and take a break and go back, um, because you know, like, especially at the beginner level, it's not that bad, it's okay, man. um, because especially a lot of the vocab and a lot of the grammar, it repeats itself a lot. And a lot of the basics, they repeat itself, and so you don't really have to get stuck in the same chapter for 6 months, or or like a year or something. Uh, so yeah, just move on to the next chapter. And words like he, she, it, they, well, not always, but in some languages they're actually very common. Others, like Spanish, Japanese, Korean, and some other ones, they're not, because they omit the subject. So yeah, pronouns are very seldomly used. But my point is, also words like hit, run, eat, sleep, walk, run, um, bathroom, bus, horse, cow, those words are used kind of frequently, So don't worry about words like those. Just keep going in. And after you reach the intermediate level, I would say to try and read content that appeals to you, that's kind of comfortable to you. So yeah, what's important is that you should generally enjoy language learning, and you should feel comfortable learning it, and you should have a passion, that fuels your desires. But yeah, though. So yeah, try and learn stuff that you like. Like, for example, if you like sports, read about sports in that language. Like French or whatever. If you like games, read about games. If you like cars, read about cars. If you like poetry or something like that, go ahead. And also songs, they help a lot, though. But yeah, uh, this is pretty much all I have to say about my language tag, and a little bit about myself. So I hope you learned a little bit about me, and yeah, it was a pleasure to have you guys here. So good night.